Salas and Danny here from Team Startacus. We are joined by Naomi Timperley.
Hello.
How are you doing, Naomi?
I'm good.
I have to say, me and Naomi have known each other for about 4 years, but we've only met twice.
Yes.
So I want to talk to you today about obviously the digital economy and how someone like myself can build audience from anywhere in the world and obviously then have a business. So tell us about your own experience and obviously what's led you to where you are right now.
Okay, so I'll tell you what I do. At the moment, I'm a consultant that specialises in partnerships, engagement and collaboration, predominantly for tech and digital businesses. So doing that so they can grow and also sometimes start. I'm also co-founder of Tech North Advocates, which is a private sector-led advocacy to support and champion tech in the North. And it's really quite simply people helping each other and not being an arsehole. It's part of something that's much bigger. So there's about 6,500 advocates across the world, and it was started by Rush Shaw in London, who's awesome. I'm also chair of an investment platform called Capital Pilot, which is for tech and digital businesses from seed to Series A. And I'm an honorary industry fellow at the University of Salford Business School with a tech and digital focus, and I'm on the board of FuturEverything.
So what do we need? Is there anything saying no? What you don't do?
I do lots of things. I also work with lots of different startups. Also do a really cool project called I've forgotten what it's called now. I'll come back to that.
I'll come back to that.
I'll come back to
Tell
that.
us about a couple of startups you work with then. Like obviously what are they doing?
So I've been working with Wakelet for a while. So Wakelet is a content creation platform. It allows you to put anything with a link into a collection and share it with other people. And I do a lot of their partnerships and engagement, especially within education. It's not an educational tool, but it's been used a lot within education. And in turn, they are also part of IDEA, which is the Duke of York's new scheme. So it's a little bit like, if you think about the Duke of Edinburgh scheme, which is community and camping, this is the digital tech equivalent. So the Bronze Award was launched January last year. Silver will be launched later in July. And it's a way of you badging your brilliance around tech and digital. It's not just for kids, it's also for adults. So Wigan Council, for example, I've been working with them, and they use it a lot within digital inclusion, so that's been super fun. So Wakelet is one of their pioneer partners, and I'm one of 2 people in the whole world who is a IDEA Pioneer Ambassador.
Wow.
Which is very cool.
That's the best intro of all everyone so far that's spoken. So using your expertise and your knowledge, how can we get more people involved in obviously tech at a really early stage? Schools and everything else. Okay,
so I think it's really important for people who work in that sector to go out and if they can. And sometimes it's not easy to go to schools because they don't have obvious front doors. So I'm part of Sherry Cous's Founders for Schools. So I'm when I say part of, I'm one of the people that is on the platform. Anyone can register. And you can engage with schools and colleges, also engage with the universities as well, but just letting children know, especially girls, that actually digital touches all parts of their lives. So that actually, if they look at their phone, somebody built that app, someone created it, they might have, somebody came up with the idea in the first place, and actually anybody has the opportunity to do that. I think, making things exciting, so getting children to think about, coming up with ideas. So I work with a company called Digital Advantage, and what we do is we go into schools and we set up a pop-up digital agency over 5 days, and we work with generally around 20 children, and we do a whole ideation process and get them to solve problems with digital.
I love that.
And you know what? It's so much fun. I actually met a guy at a tech event in Manchester who has just developed an app very similar to something that I did with a group of kids in January. And they came up with a sort of working prototype of what it would look like, a video to pitch it, and just incredible. And just seeing the young people start and then go through this 5-day journey and be excited to come in. And actually I get quite emotional when I talk about this, but there was one particular kid when we were getting feedback, they actually said that this is the first time since they've been at senior school that they wanted to come into school.
Brilliant. Wow.
And that's really powerful. And just going back to idea, especially with the digital inclusion thing, I think there's a really big focus about how, I know, like I live in Manchester, and they want Manchester to be a digital city. And I think the really powerful thing about IDEA, for example, and around digital skills is that to be a digital city, no matter where you are in the world, you have to start with the citizens.
Yeah.
So, teach the citizens how to be digital, how to access. And actually, also I think, I don't know about whether you are the same, but just throughout my career and all the things, and I've come, I started from the travel industry, and then I went to recruitment, and then I took 4 years out and brought an events company over to the UK from America. So I've now I'm working in tech and digital businesses, but I think another thing with young people is actually looking at the fact that actually we don't always have linear career paths. You can go off on tangents, and actually you're always learning.
Yeah.
Always learning. And I think that there's so many amazing free courses online that you can find.
Well, my question to that would be, how many people are we losing from the tech scene? I mean, obviously we talk a good talk in what we want to do with schools and how we want to, get them to learn about coding. But we need to move on from that. Coding should have been 5 years ago now. We should be talking about AI, and why are we not like the Chinese teaching AI in school?
Yeah.
So for me, and I'm sure you're the same on this, it's about how it's not just a grassroots. It can't just be yourself. It can't just be me. It can't be grassroots just led. It's got to be something stronger than that.
So the schools, so the Department of Education puts so much pressure on the schools. So my sister works within education. I've got other friends that work within education. So they put so much pressure to get results, maths, English, etc., etc. Some schools have actually dropped computer science. It is shocking. But then, like, my sister is an executive head of a primary and a junior school.
Yeah.
And she brought in coding before it was in the curriculum at her school. They've got QR codes all the way around the school, so just to encourage kids, just to get excited. And I think you do have to start really young.
Yeah.
But that goes back to what I was saying before, is actually giving young people situations where they can see that actually digital touches every part of their life. 90% of jobs within the next 20 years are going to have a digital element, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
And I think it's just getting them excited.
Yeah.
But schools can't always. You've got those teachers within the schools.
Yeah.
It's finding champion teachers that want to learn and want to encourage kids, but it's very difficult.
It's also telling kids. Like, I do some work with Young Enterprise in Northern Ireland, and I go into the schools and I say to especially the girls, because say in a room of like 60 potential entrepreneurs, you can identify 5 or 6 that would be tech entrepreneurs. Whether, not creative or ideation ones, but the tech entrepreneurs. And it's telling them that the salaries that they can get are more than doctors. Yeah. Why are we not selling this in schools? And that for me is a big passion point.
I think that's got a lot to do with careers education. Yeah. So a lot of the careers educators perhaps aren't as worldly wide as they probably should be. And they I'm not a careers expert, but actually, I've had lots of different careers. I used to be part of National Careers Week, and give out a week of my time and actually go into schools, lots of different schools, and just talk to them about, how kids should make good connections, to talk to people about, and also, something that I've always say to my kids is find out what other people's parents do, just so you can find out about their careers. I have 2 daughters, a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. When my 13-year-old was 11, we went to America and did a TED Talk. And that was because of a connection that I had. And my daughter at the time was really passionate about TED Talks. A lot of people don't know what they are.
No.
So, schools, and I know my sister's school have done it, they actually play TED Talks at lunchtime. Any school could do that.
Instead of the Avengers, which is what the case was when I went into a school quite recently, they were watching the Avengers at lunchtime. So we got to leave it there, but it's an absolute pleasure to chat with you.
Great to see you.
Yeah, and let's help Naomi on some of these mission statements, not just the UK but Ireland as well.
And check out Idea, because Idea is amazing.
Idea what? Idea.
So it's idea.org.uk. Anyone can go on. So whether you're a child or an adult, I would encourage everybody to do it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your time here in Belfast.